Now at 10, a partial restraining order for a Black Lives Matter protest.
It is absurd that the mall thought that it could use the court to violate the First Amendment rights.
Tonight, why the decision won't stop tomorrow's demonstration at the Mall of America. And rescued from the flames.
Little DeAndre Ward is in fair condition 15 hours after being pulled from his burning house.
A fire survivor meets his hero 25 years later.
Well, after a quiet night tomorrow, here comes the rain and then eventually, you guessed it, snow by the evening commute. We'll have all the details and the 7-day coming up.
We start with new developments in the suicide bombing that killed 6 American troops in Afghanistan. Tonight, the Department of Defense confirms one of the airmen who died was from Plymouth, Minnesota. Major Adrian Vorderbruggen was the first openly gay female officer to be killed in combat. Officials said the troops were targeted as they moved through a village near Bagram Airfield. The Taliban claimed responsibility. Vorderbruggen was assigned to Elgin Air Force Base in Florida. Her brother John called her a bright light in the world. Her father Joseph said his daughter loved life and the military. Vorderbruggen leaves behind a wife and their young son. Holiday shoppers and protesters will come head-to-head for a second straight year at the Mall of America tomorrow. The Black Lives Matter demonstration will go on despite a temporary restraining order against 3 of the leaders. Attorneys for the privately owned mall want to keep all protesters away and force them to remove social media posts about the event. The judge, however, ruled that those requests were too broad. Adrian Broaddus is live at the mall now with reaction. Adrian.
Good evening to you, Rena. Some say this order is useful because it upholds the mall's right as a private property owner. It also upholds the public's right to free speech. The march, the protest is scheduled for inside of the mall tomorrow at 1:30. But leaders say there could be serious consequences for others who show up here at Mall of America with intentions other than shopping. Mall of America officials wanted to keep Black Lives Matter protesters out. Law professor Raleigh Levine says the mall's approach was legal, but some requests unconstitutional. For example, trying to remove posts on Facebook and to stop protesters from promoting the event.
It can't use the court to try to shut people up and make them take back invitations that they've issued to join protests.
A Hennepin County judge did rule 3 leaders like Mike McDowell, Candace Montgomery, and Misha Noor are banned from protesting inside of the mall if they show up tomorrow.
If they go to the mall tomorrow and engage in the demonstration, they will be violating a court order and can be held in contempt of court.
This ruling is a very clear message to not only the 3 organizers, but to all potential demonstrators. It's against the law, and there will be consequences if you come and break the law.
McDowell and Montgomery vowed to fight for justice. Both said they won't let the ruling dampen their spirits.
I think it's another example of how police, government, and corporations collude to silence the rights of peaceful protesters, especially when they're Black.
If the folks who are supposed leaders at the top are, sat down or said that they can't be there, that this event can still be successful, still be peaceful without us being there, because we have so many folks who can step into our shoes.
Meanwhile, mall officials did tell us they plan to have stronger enforcement than what we saw last year. They wouldn't tell us how many Bloomington police officers would be inside the mall. And leaders with Black Lives Matter did not tell us whether or not they plan to ignore that court order. Rena?
All right, Adrian Broaddus live at Mall of America tonight. Thank you. Tomorrow's protest means an 8th grade choir concert and field trip at the mall is now canceled. Minnetonka schools issued a statement today saying, "We do not believe that a middle school music concert intended to bring cheer and joy is appropriate in light of the serious issues being expressed through the demonstration." Heading outside, winter weather is coming. Grand Forks could see several inches fall overnight, and there is a chance that the metro could see some snow too. Belle's here with the first look. Hey, Belle.
Well, hi, Rena. Let's take a look at our weather headlines for this Tuesday night. Tomorrow, it's going to start out as rain for the morning commute, but then it will turn over to snow. We'll give you the timeline in a second. It'll be quiet for Christmas and Christmas Eve, both Thursday and Friday, but then we do have snow returning into the forecast both Saturday and Monday. And out of all three chances of snow, Monday actually looks like the most impressive. For tonight, here's our storm right here. Out ahead of it, some rain, and then behind it, colder air and snow. We're going to have a number of hours of rain across the metro coming in right around 7 o'clock. And then after that, we do anticipate getting the snow. Here's your timeline for tomorrow. Lots of clouds overnight tonight. Then by 7 o'clock, here comes the rain into the metro. There it is. It's raining through lunchtime. There's 11 a.m. But after lunch, it turns over to a very wet snow, and it doesn't move out until about 10 o'clock tomorrow evening. We'll give you how much the totals could be by tomorrow night, and we'll also give you the details on those other two storms in the 7-day. Rena?
All right, thank you, Belle. An 18-year-old Minneapolis man charged with the beating death of his girlfriend's daughter has been sentenced to 25 years in prison. 2-year-old Sophia O'Neill died in June while under the care of Cody Fernbaum. Prosecutors say his punishment is double the normal sentence for the crime because he admitted his lies interfered with the girl's medical treatment. A Minneapolis man is being held on $2 million bail for the murder of his mother. Prosecutors say Michael Gallagher killed his 89-year-old mother because he was upset that a bed bug outbreak would get her kicked out of her apartment. Police say Gallagher admitted to beating his mother with a sculpture of himself and then smothering her with a pillow and strangling her. Officers say he called 911 and surrendered. The Minnesota Innocence Project says it's committed to clearing a convicted killer's name even after his death today. Billy Glaze died at a Delaware prison after being diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer last week. The 72-year-old was convicted of murdering 3 American Indian women in Minneapolis in the 1980s. The Innocence Project says it notified a judge and prosecutors about Glaze's declining health, hoping to expedite a hearing, but attorneys never responded.
I know Billy's dying wish was that we continue this fight on his behalf and clear his name. He does have one living relative, a nephew, who we've also been in contact with, who really wants us to clear his name. So we do hope to continue this fight.
The Minnesota Innocence Project argues that new DNA testing of evidence from the 1980 murders found no link to Glaze, but prosecutors are confident they had the right man and said Glaze did not need a new trial. A St. Paul Central High School teacher who was beaten by a student spoke about the incident for the first time today. 55-year-old John Ekblad was trying to break up a fight between 2 students when one of them turned on Ekblad, punching and choking him. The veteran teacher suffered severe brain trauma and memory loss from that attack. Ekblad and his attorney say they intend to file a lawsuit against the school district to force it to increase security for staff and students.
The hallways are a dangerous place. The lunchroom is a dangerous place. And now the classrooms are a dangerous place, not just for teachers, but for students, for administrators, for the support staff.
Ekblad says he hopes to heal and return to teaching eventually. The school district in a statement said they do not tolerate violence against anyone in the district. Today, a lifeline came to the Iron Range as the president's chief of staff addressed the layoffs plaguing the steel industry. Miners want President Obama to restrict imports of cheap foreign steel by enforcing trade rules more aggressively. Boyd Hupert spent today on the range.
Downtown Virginia is decked out like Bedford Falls, but it's not a wonderful life, as 2,000 iron miners are off the job. They need help and hope the man who arrived in town today can bring it. The motorcade entering Virginia was a sight for sore eyes, but it's the ear of the man in the red scarf everyone is after. Dennis McDonough is a Stillwater native and the White House chief of staff, but today he's a glimmer of hope for 2,000 laid-off iron miners like Dan Kotnick.
I've been off since middle of October.
Both miners and owners blame their shuttered mines on cheap steel from China and other foreign countries, illegally dumped, they say, on the U.S. market, cutting into demand for Minnesota-mined iron ore.
It's a struggle.
Al Zupancic is hearing it at his Eveleth IGA.
It's a lot of pessimism. We had a restaurant just south of town here, closed about a month ago, and my relatives have a grocery store in Aurora, and they announced that they're going to close after the first of the year.
I've been laid off since August 21st.
Dan Hill sat across from McDonough at this meeting close to the press. At one point, tossing across that gap 2 of his union T-shirts, one for the chief of staff and one for the president. He also shared this story.
My oldest son graduated preschool. He got asked where he wanted to be up on stage, and he said he wants to be a miner. I looked at the chief of staff. I said, can you make that happen? He said, he'll try.
What miners wanted to hear.
The reason I'm here is because the urgency the president attaches to the situation.
After having McDonough's ear, the miners hope that motorcade now leads to the president's too. Boyd Hooper, KARE 11 News, Virginia.
Still ahead at 10, a change in the forecast that could leave us with a white Christmas. And a little later, the Brooklyn Park Fire Department rallies around a family who needed a little extra cheer this holiday season. We're going to take you there. We'll be right back.
Right here.
Just a grainy picture in an album he's carried for years.
I'm alive right now. He's the reason why.
The firefighter.
Thank you.
The boy he saved. And a reunion 25 years in the making.
Thank you for saving my life.
Next, in the land of 10,000 stories.
For 25 years, they wondered. A retired firefighter and the little boy he rescued both wondered what had become of the other. Boyd Hooper takes us along as the mystery is solved in tonight's Land of 10,000 Stories.
The Viking wall is special for me in my room that my mom did.
DeAndre Ashworth surrounds himself in his room at the Ashland Group Home with the things
That's my high school jacket.
he most treasures.
A dapper soccer.
One
Yeah.
more than the rest.
And my hero.
That grainy photo of a St. Paul firefighter is from an article
Right here.
25 years ago.
He's the reason I'm alive right now.
A photocopied connection to the man who saved his life.
So he brings the article and I read it and I'm like, oh my God.
Patience Robinson had started working at the group home and listened.
And he just really wanted to thank him. He just really wanted to see him and thank him. And I said, well, let's see if we can find him.
Then Patience went online and did.
Pioneer Press on the day after the fire.
Turns out retired St. Paul Fire Captain Don Cozen
In recognition
had saved some mementos from the rescue
of meritorious service.
too.
All 4 channels covered it.
Little DeAndre Ward is in fair condition 15 hours after being pulled from his burning house.
That's him. Yeah, that's DeAndre.
Before DeAndre could be carried from that burning home,
You don't see nothing.
Don had crawled into the fire
Actually, I was lost up there.
to find him.
And then I heard him. And I crawled a little bit further and I felt him. DeAndre, he was crying.
The firefighter saved me.
But DeAndre
And God bless him.
wasn't the only one left wondering.
I always felt that it's God working through me to save his child. So what was the purpose that he used me in saving his child, and what did that child become?
A fireman, Kate.
The fireman
Yeah.
is about to find out.
Hey, where's DeAndre?
Hey, Don.
Hello there, sir. Good to see you there, young man.
Few of us have faced DeAndre's challenges.
Captain Don Cozen.
Disabilities linked to a substance-abusing mom whose son became a ward of the state.
Well, this is in the mayor's office.
But because Don was there to save him,
That's your thank you.
DeAndre lived to have an adopted family
Love you. Love you too, Dad.
that visits him regularly, gives him love, and a home on holidays.
Come here.
A mom and a dad and siblings.
It's pretty amazing to see little pictures of my boy before I ever even got to know you. Thank you.
Don Cozen now knows that little boy is okay.
Thank you for saving my life.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
And DeAndre has a new favorite photo in his album.
He's my favorite hero. He still is. More than ever.
Boyd Hooper, KARE 11 News, St. Paul.
Yeah.
Well, no more 25-year separations. Both DeAndre and Don told us they do plan to stay in touch. Well, next week in the Land of 10,000 Stories, something very special. We're asking you to vote on your favorite story from 2015. Go to KARE11.com. You'll find a list of the most viewed stories over the last year. Place and cast your vote. The top vote getter will be re-aired right here next Tuesday night. All right, Belle.
It's a lot of good stories. Can
Yeah.
you imagine?
No, you know what? They're all good. I knew tonight's was going to make me cry, but I held it together long enough to get to you and weather. So
I know, and I always have to follow those stories. It's not fun. Thank you, Boyd. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're out here, and it is, the night before a number of storms that are going to be affecting us over the next 7 days. And I know a lot of you are traveling in, or possibly you're traveling out. Let's start out by taking a look at the country. So today we had a lot of rain that's moving into Atlanta. That rain is going to move up the East Coast, where it is very warm, in fact, in the 60s. And as we move across the country, the central part of the Ohio River Valley down through Missouri potentially will have a tornado outbreak tomorrow, if you can believe it. That's how warm the temperatures are. And on the leading edge of our storm, there will be some severe weather. Portland, a foot of snow today, the most snow in one day in December. So that's where all of the snow is, and that snow is coming across Salt Lake City and Denver as well, and it is very active all across the country. So tomorrow for traveling, here's that severe weather outbreak that will occur in the afternoon. North of that, you have the rain in Chicago and also in Detroit. Here's the rain along the East Coast, thunderstorms in Raleigh. And then we move to Denver. That'll be quiet if you're traveling there. 30 in Pierre. We have some snow falling in Salt Lake City again. It'll be quiet in Las Vegas if that's where your travel plans bring you. And here in Minnesota, well, we're going to have rain turning over to snow. So it's going to be messy along the western portion of Wisconsin, eastern portion of Minnesota, including the metro. Most of Wisconsin, if you're traveling in from there, or you're expecting someone from there, or you're traveling in that direction, will be rain with all that warm air, and it will be rain all to our south from Omaha down through Des Moines. Here's your daily planner. If you're staying right here in the Twin Cities, we'll be at about 37, 36 in the morning. It'll be raining by 7 a.m. and we expect that rain to turn over to snow after lunchtime, and then eventually it's all snow. And it looks like with the temperatures, we're talking some wet, heavy, dense snow. So even though it's going to snow for probably 3 or 4 hours, we're not calling for a lot of accumulation from this very heavy, dense snow. There it is, 8 o'clock. Here comes the rain into the southern suburbs. By lunchtime, it's turning over to sleet and eventually snow as the colder air is wrapping in. It's snow through the evening commute. That will be a slow one. We haven't had a lot of snow this season so far, that's for sure. So tomorrow, count on a slow evening commute, or if you're heading places tomorrow evening, it will be slow. And then we get to Christmas Eve morning and the sun comes out. So that is good news. So how much can we expect from this? As I mentioned, we're not calling for a lot, maybe 1.5 inches to 2 inches, maybe up to 3 inches in Hayward, possibly just under 2 inches in Mankato, and the same for Jackson. And all of this travels into Wisconsin from River Falls down through Prescott and up toward Balsam Lake as well, right around between 1 to 2 inches of snow. So we have the rain turning to snow, then we have a quiet day Thursday, quiet day for Friday, and then Friday night through Saturday, that's our next best chance of a system coming through. There's Saturday snow, and then we have a break on Sunday, and then there's Monday's chance of snow. Most of the temperatures for this will be all cold enough that it looks like both of those storms will be mainly snow, and we'll have to watch to see how much we can expect on Saturday and also on Monday. But for now, we're calling for maybe 1 inch to 2 inches of wet, sloppy snow on Wednesday night. But, well, it will be a white Christmas then if that does occur.
Well, that's what people wanted, right?
That's right.
There you go. Thanks, Belle.
All right.
The 2016 U.S. Pond Hockey Championships in Minneapolis will be delayed by 2 weeks thanks to the warm weather we've had. The event is now set for January 28th through the 31st. Organizers hope the extra time will allow the ice to thicken up or maybe even form on Lake Nokomis. Coming up in sports, the Minnesota Wild in action against Montreal, looking for their first win in 3 games, plus a special edition of Perk and Peck as the tattooed Timberwolf dishes on his love life.
KARE 11 Sports from the Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine Sports Desk.
Second of a back-to-back, and so head coach Mike Yeo goes with Darcy Kemper in nets tonight, and boy does it pay off in this game against Montreal at XL Energy Center. First period, Canadians turned the puck over in their own zone. Mikael Granlund shot, blocked. Jason Pominville there for the rebound. Wild up 1-0. Third period now. Charlie Coyle skates in, goes top shelf for his 8th goal of the season. Makes it 2-zip. That's all Kemper needs. He stops 24 of 25 shots, and the Wild take it tonight, 2-1. A lone representative in the Pro Bowl game, despite a 9-5 record. Curious for the Vikings. No surprise, the NFL's leading rusher Adrian Peterson is named to the game, which honors the NFL's best. AP and his wife Ashley playing Santa and Mrs. Claus today, providing Christmas gifts to over 400 kids living in transitional housing. This is great. AP stepping up for Mary's Place downtown in Minneapolis this afternoon in full costume. Never took it off. Tyus Jones is back. He played a half-dozen games with the Idaho Stampede of the NBA Developmental League, and in those games, Jones averaged 25 points and 5 assists a game. So the Wolves recall the point guard, Minnesota, home against San Antonio tomorrow night. Nikola Pekovic still not on the court yet for the Timberwolves, but he's getting closer. Should be sometime after the holiday, although there's another big day coming up for the big guy. Here now another edition of Perk and Peck. Your birthday right around the corner too. You're going to be turning, this is a big one for you.
Yeah, big one, 30. 3-0.
I know you'll probably go out with your boys or whatever, and you'll have, plenty of, opportunities to, enjoy some revelry, but
My girlfriend is coming, so I won't be going out.
Oh, okay, this is sort of breaking news. I didn't know you had yourself a little lady.
Yes, I do. Wow, why wouldn't I?
Okay. Well, I'm not saying you wouldn't, but I'm just saying I didn't know.
Now you know.
Oh, she treats you very nice?
Yeah.
Is she shorter than you or taller than you?
Come on, man. I'm like 6'11".
You feel like your game is coming back, though?
I didn't play game, actual basketball game in a long time. Probably from March.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what's the girl's name? Is it Francesca or something?
Who?
Your girlfriend.
Dude, you're moving from basketball to girl. I see what you're trying to do.
No.
No.
Is it like Alexandra? Or
No.
Start with an A?
No.
Is it like, okay, how about what if it was like Nicole? Like Nicole and Nicola? That would be a sweet couple.
It's not.
I would like to do something for your birthday, if that's okay.
Like what?
I just want to give you a little cake. Because now, see,
how do you get to these ideas? Why you?
Okay, one last. No. Okay, one last question. Is her name?
No. I know what you're gonna ask me. No.
Tough nut to crack. I'm telling you what. I'll get there at some point this year. That's sports. KARE 11 News back after this.
The Brooklyn Park Fire Department played Secret Santa today for a family who is recovering from an October accident 2 months ago. Firefighters responded to the call of 3-year-old Luke Olenek, caught underneath a riding lawnmower. They were so affected that they decided to adopt this family. Tonight, they gifted Luke and his brothers with presents and their parents with gift cards.
They've just needed some help. They've had a tough fall, and we wanted to step up and do what we could as far as a community.
They took care of us from the day one. It's been very encouraging, and they really stepped up and took good care of us.
After 6 surgeries, Luke is on the road to recovery. His family says tonight's cash donations will help pay some of their medical bills. Oh, I hope they can use some of the money to do something nice for themselves too, though.
Well, that's wonderful that they did that and they remembered them.
Very wonderful.
I like that.
Snow.
Rain, then snow. About 1.5 inches.
There you have it, folks. Have a great night.
Slow evening commute.
We'll see you back here tomorrow.